We need some
Zach.
beat music. I want to hear
It blows up.
right. Man, I am excited today, and I'm here with a legend here. Michael Gabriel's here. He is sicker than sick. He's fighting through it. This dude, you've been sick for what? 3 days now? 4 days?
It feels like forever. That's what I've been like. But this is what I know. Successful people show up.
Oh,
That's
I
what
love
I've
it.
heard.
I love it. This dude is driven. And we're meeting with clients later today too. So my gosh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, today it's apt that you showed up today because we're talking about the attractive character or the dancing bear. There's numerous titles that this thing goes by, but basically you're the guy causing people to look over here like, hey, look at this cool thing that we got over here. You're causing eyeballs to fall on you. And we're going to talk about the different types of traffic. But Michael Gabriel, in true form, he's dying, but he's here.
Yeah. So one thing, I remember, is Myron Goldman said this thing when we were like, he was teaching something, and he talked about, he was using, we're gonna name drop here, Gary Vaynerchuk. Is that how you say his name? And Gary V, right? And Gary V drops bombs, he drops gold, he drops these nuggets. And Myron Goldman was talking about just how he likes to curse in his, Gary V likes to curse. And he said, it's like, a waiter coming out with this mimosa, right? It's this orange juice and the best champagne. And then all of a sudden a fly goes into it. And then he said, that's like the cuss word. The cuss word is the fly. Even though you have this beautiful thing, even if you take out the fly, it's still tainted. And that has stuck with me over and over again. Because as I look at people that I'm attracted to, right? Because that's how you truly like build the following, build the brand, build the culture. And I just can remember that. So every time, I'm watching someone and I hear them throw out that cuss word, I'm like, it was gold. There goes the fly.
Is it worth it though, is the question, right? So what Gary's doing there is he's being polarizing, right? And so if he's attracting the kind of person that's okay with vulgarities, that's working. And that will push away people that aren't fine with it. The question to ask is it worth the vulgarities to push people away? Like when I was selling real estate, I'm the attractive character. I'm pulling people into my world. I wanted people that loved God, loved their family, and made a lot of money and wanted to, buy an awesome house. That was who I attracted. That's what I spoke about. And so like people knew I love God. I love my family. I was conservative. I love building big businesses. And so I know I turned people off from that. Not saying that we wouldn't help those other people out, but I attracted that kind of people that I really wanted to work with because I was polarizing. But that I was very intentional about how I was being polarizing. And I think, often I love a good vulgarity. I swear, but like you can hear in here, I'm not swearing at all because I don't want to turn people off with that, right? It doesn't make sense to.
Yeah, there were certain, say 8 years ago, 10 years ago, and all of these influencers, like we didn't know they were influencers at the time, but influencers started coming out, and even the Tai Lopez, I was like, oh my gosh, I love what Tai Lopez says. But then he's like surrounded by all these like women and like it's like the Ferraris and this lifestyle, and I'm like, I'm not really a fan of that. Then there was Billie Jean as marketing, and he's a jerk, right? And I was just like, man, this is not who. He's dropping gold too, and I want to listen to him, but it wasn't. And then I found Russell Brunson, and Russell Brunson was kind of like pure in a sense, where like he didn't have to do these things, and it attracted me to him. And his whole community are all people like him, right? People who want to serve, people who want to help. And it's just funny because like that's how I met you. That's how I met a lot of good friends. And when you're that attractive character, you want to do business with people who are similar to you.
Right.
Like, man, it just grew so big.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And the fun part too is that as you're attracting this group of people, especially when I would say, for most people, be authentic. I have clients that we've built out the attractive character portion in their business. Some of them were quite liberal. And so I said, go ahead and embrace that, because those are probably the people that you want to work with. Go ahead and share that out there, and conservatives and people that love, Christ, and like share that, be authentic, and you're going to attract those people, and you're going to build a community, just like when you're talking about with Russell Brunson. I can tell you, Michael, I've gone to a gazillion different marketing conferences, sales conferences, real estate conferences, all the different things. And I will give Russell Brunson a ton of credit for it, but the group that he pulls around him are some of the most solid, awesome people that are out there. I remember, going to different real estate conferences. There's a huge, like a drinking style environment, party style environment. They're loud, they have a lot of fun, and there's nothing wrong with that. It has a place, but it's not necessarily somewhere I want to bring my kids to, right? Because I don't need to see that. Whereas when we went to FHL, Funnel Hacker Live, and the different things that Russell would do, they got the lasers and the big, like, boom, 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 the beats that we need for the intro for our Traffic Tuesdays. But there's kids running around, having fun in the back. And, at a real estate conference, like, you would be murdered with fire if you brought your kid and let your kid run around in the back, because now we're listening to the speaker. They were having a ball back there, and no one cared. It was super cool. But going back to what we're talking about, the attractive character, because Russell puts that out there. He says he loves God. He says he loves his family. He loves wrestling. He loves building big businesses. Those are the people that he's attracting. And so when you think about your business, when you think about how you want to grow, it's really imperative. And this is one of those things, you've heard me say this before in these videos we do. Write this down and do it. Define who's the person you really want to serve. What are their traits? What, is swearing going to piss them off? Then don't swear. Are they Christian? Do they want to build a big business? Is there a certain, whatever those traits are, take the time to define your avatar. We actually have a downloadable. If you shoot or type in attractive character in wherever you're watching this, I have a downloadable that will help you build out your perfect attractive character. It's an exercise that I charge a lot of money for the clients that we work with. It'll take you a good, healthy 30 to 45 minutes, but it's going to ask you all these questions and then outspits your attractive character. We're going to name that person, Bob or Jill, and typically we'll go to, I forget the website right now. I'm drawing a blank. It's a website that now ChatGPT can do this, but this was a website like 5 years ago that would generate a fake person's face. And so you could say, generate this person, and you go through and like you pick your person, like that is now your avatar. This is the person that we're going to craft everything around. And what do I mean by that? So the attractive character, again, it's the dancing bear. If you saw a dancing bear, you're going to stop, right? If you see the purple cow in the road, you're going to stop and you're going to look at that. This is the same, the concepts. Like, we're getting eyeballs on our business. We're going to be speaking the language of our attractive character. There's different types of traffic. The most valuable, the most important traffic that we have, the most valuable thing in your database is traffic that we own. This is our database, and we need to be speaking directly to our database before you go spend money on ads, which we can help you out with, before you go start doing YouTube shorts and all this other stuff, before you do any of these things. Are you taking care of your database? The attractive character should be engaging with that database there's 4 pillars we want to do. We want to get them to know you, to like you, to trust you, and believe you have the best solution for them. This is critical. And so the attractive character embraces, first and foremost, if you're smart, your database. Your database is going to take care of you way faster than ads will, or traffic that we earn, that we're going to talk about in a second. The database is the most valuable thing that you have in your company.
Absolutely. One thing that when you talk about your avatar, I told someone this the other day, your avatar is someone that you were just a few steps ago, right? Just a few years ago.
Great point.
That is someone and who you become to attract them as your attractive character will help keep them along, and they will follow you along your journey. So that's great.
A great example of that, Michael, is, when I was selling real estate, I got into real estate wanting to have a huge family, and knowing that kids were expensive. I wanted to make a lot of money so we could have food with our meals and we could go on fun trips. And I remember just starving to death in the business because I didn't understand the power of models. And so I just kind of threw enough crap at the wall. I'm like, I'm going to try for sale by owners. I'm going to try expired listings. I'm going to try cold calling people. I'm going to try all this stuff. I'm going to try paying for leads. and some of it worked. But then I found a model, right? And then I started to click. We took care of the database. We grew, started to win awards, built a team, really was in the top 1% of real estate agents, which was awesome. And like, think about that journey. Cause you know, I know a lot of real estate agents that they get their license, and I don't know a lot. I know a few that get their license and then boom, they're smoking it. They're selling houses. They're doing all the things that are like magic. Everything they touch turns to gold. That's not the case with me, and that's not the case with most people. I had to figure out a path, but now that I know the path, if I find a student that's willing to listen and willing to push through the things that make them uncomfortable, you know, like reaching out to their database and saying the right things, you know them, like them, trust them, believe they have the best solution to really shape that database, I can get them to go to success a lot faster. So that's exactly what you're saying. I'm reaching out to the people that don't know what they don't know. I know how to exactly get to them to where they want to be, and I can bridge that gap a lot faster. And so, like, when you think about the attractive character, what Michael was saying, you're really talking to yourself 4, 5, maybe 10 years ago, and you want to stop and think, like, this is what were the pain points that I had? You know, what was the thing that I couldn't get past that my product or my service helps them to get beyond?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's all I have today.
That's all right. I want to talk about a few more things, and I actually need your help on some of these things. So we're talking about different traffics, right? So the traffic that we own, this is your database or your data bank, the most valuable thing that we have in there. Now, if you have more money than time or time than money, you got to ask yourself the question, if I have more time than I have money, I want to look at different types of traffic before I look at ads, because ads, as we know, Michael, can get wicked expensive, wicked fast. In fact, you know, oh my gosh, if you don't do them the right way, you will blow through cash in an obscene speed that it's ridiculous. Things have only got more expensive. So if you have more time than money, what I'm going to say is we want to focus on the traffic that we earn. So we talk about doing YouTube shorts, you know, TikTok shorts, you know, Instagram shorts. These are different things that we can do where I'm addressing a problem. And the formula we use is slap, story, solution. If you want people to raise their hand and say, hey, can you help me out? We want to do slap, story, solution. So I got to get their attention. And Michael talks about this when he's not sick and dying all the time. Like, there's two different styles of really advertising that we employ. You know, we have disruptive, where we interrupt your doom scroll. So you're on the TikToks, you're on Facebook, you're on Instagram, you're scrolling. I got to do something crazy to get your attention. My son, man, this guy's smoking me. He's got over 50,000 followers on the Instagram, which is awesome. And he starts typically each video out with doing a backflip, right? Which I could probably do a backflip once, and then I'm probably not getting back up. But he'll do a backflip, and that gets people's attention. Then he's got some awesome slap that he's talking about. Like, hey guys, today I'm doing this thing on the 3-wheeler, right? And so he gets their attention. Then he goes into the story of what is going on. And then the solution at the end is some sort of lead magnet. Now, Michael, talk about this a little bit. Like, how do we get people? So let's go for I don't know, gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Let's use a real estate agent as an example, right? Like, maybe we do something crazy, a house blows up, you know, or where they're flushing money down the toilet. These are ads that we run. How do they get in touch with the person? Talk about the solution part.
So the solution part, so when I look at what you're saying, it's like, you know, is the product more logical or is it more disruptive, right? That's the first two things that I think about. And disruptive to me is more, you know, something that's easy. They don't have to think about. It's a quick decision. You know, if a t-shirt, right? So I like Back to the Future, right? And the t-shirt pops up and I'm like, okay, real quick, that's a quick solution. I want to buy it, blah, 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 blah. If it's more logical, then it takes a little bit more steps. You know, people are going to look you up a little bit more. They might Google you. They might Google the answer, or they're looking for a problem. So that's how I really define on which way am I going. Am I going to be more disruptive, which is like social media and, you know, quick thinking, or do I need to lean into Google to where people are like kind of looking for the answer and it's a little bit of a longer buying process of customer journey? And I think that's really what you think about when you're trying to come up with this solution is like, what is the customer journey to have for when they're totally unaware of a problem to where they become aware that there is a problem, and then that you have the solution for that problem. So if you understand the journey of all these steps, then it's very easy for you to plug in along the way exactly what you need so that you are looked at as the solution because you help them, go from unaware, problem aware to solution aware.
And I think that journey that you're talking about, often what we'll see is people that jump into our world that even we're helping out, they'll go too quickly to marriage, the proposal question. What do I mean by that? Well, you're the attractive character, you're doing something to get their attention. And maybe like as the example, the real estate agent, meeting with a real estate agent and listing your house isn't something that people take lightly. There has to be an immense amount of trust there. They have to believe that you're the best person for this job because typically it's their most expensive asset. And so I can't go from, hey, look at me, I sell houses, and I get their attention. I tell a story. I've sold all these houses. I've done all these things. I serve these people. They're like, hey, can I just list your house? There's got to be a bridge. And so that's what Michael and I do with a lot of our clients, not just real estate, but with heating and cooling and all kinds of different things. What's the lead magnet we can give them? In real estate, that example might be like, we have a book that will show you how to get 5.4% more for your house. It'll show you exactly the things to do and what not to do. And this book is free 90 free. In fact, if you give us your email address in your name, you can download it right now and you can see exactly how we do it. Now the book goes through the different things that they do, but now we did the thing that we're looking for. We captured their information. We're building that database, which is really critical here. And so the lead magnets are what you want to think about. I want to talk briefly, I know we're running out of time, about two things here, two concepts. Now this is like higher level things that we're doing. It's the MIFGI and the MOFR. The MIFGI and the MOFR, these are two acronyms these are things that you should absolutely write down. These are the things that cause my clients to make tens of thousands of dollars every month when we got them dialed in the right way. So I told you about the book. You're giving away the book. This could be a MIFGI, the most incredible free gift ever. MIFGI. What's the thing that I can give away that causes you to give me your contact information? That's the thing that I'm really, really looking to do. So I want you to raise your hand and give you my contact information. The MOFR is a make offer for immediate response. Thinking about like the heating and cooling guys, especially, this time of year, falls, it's transitioning to fall, things are getting colder. What are the deals that we can make out there? One of the MOFRs might be, if I don't have money to pay you to fix my furnace right now, 0% interest rates. That is an amazing offer, an incredible offer. 12 months, no interest on that. That gets people to raise their hand. What else would you add to that? In terms of MIFGIs and MOFRs, Michael, just offers in general.
Again, I think it's about understanding the journey and knowing exactly what they want. And then if you understand the journey, for instance, I had a bank come to me and they say, hey, we want to sell new equipment, new equipment and to businesses. And I said, okay, they want to finance new equipment. And I was trying to think, all right, it's not just like computers. They were talking about like tractors and, big, they want to finance a whole building, right, of equipment. And I said, okay, what is important to them? So the first thing they have to understand the trends. What's trending right now that is new technology that'll help them grow their business, right? So I came up with this resource center to say, hey, these are all the hot businesses you need to go to, or hot websites you need to go to know about new business trends. Then I said, let's create them an ROI calculator, right? Return on investment. If they invest this money into their business, what is the return they're going to get? Is it going to cut hours? Is it going to, are they going to be able to charge more? Are they going to be more efficient? Like, what are the things? So I said, all right, let's give them the resource center. Let's give them the ROI. And then let's tell them that we have the solution for them to get financed at a nice rate. And that was the whole program. And it did great. So understanding exactly where people are helps you create that offer so that you can lead them into the path of the solution.
Yeah, totally. So if you want to start to build out your avatar, just really figure out how to speak to these people, this is, success leaves clues. It is something that we talk about. And Michael and I have done this for lots and lots and lots of businesses. We've done this for our own businesses. You want to start with defining that avatar, the person that you're really serving. And you might think, I already know. When you take the time, we write it down and we get clarity on the way they want to be spoken to. magic happens. And so comment attractive character below if you would like that free resource from us. And this is, by the way, a lead magnet that we're giving out there because we want to be in a relationship with you guys. We want to give out value. So that's all I have for today. Hopefully next week, Michael Gabriel is going to be 100%. He's gotten rid of the plague. Thank you, Michael, for being, man, like, this is awesome that you showed up. I give you kudos because you know what? I would have been in bed. I went, Michael, you're going solo, but he's a real man.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time.